let's start with the good parts. What's to love?
Well, look, the most important part of this bill, and the reason on balance it's a good bill, probably worth becoming law, is because it dramatically increases our legal immigration, Mary. And I'm a believer that immigrants are contributors to this economy, as you are, and I think the evidence is overwhelming in that regard. And the other thing that it does is it moves us more toward a skill-based immigration system, Mary, away from the family-based system towards allowing entry to those who have skills, who have talents, who have the kind of work ethic that we need in this country. And I've been fighting for that for 20 years, so I like that a lot.
Oh, but Steve, there's also a lot to hate here. First and foremost, the amount of money that Republicans put on this bill for border security. I mean, what are we, Fortress America?
I like, yeah, you have to wonder whether we're building a Berlin Wall around this country. And, you know, I like the line that Tom Coburn had, the Republican from Oklahoma, when he said that this is a Border Patrol stimulus, you know, because we're spending so much money on the border. And the truth is, Mary, we've already done that. If you go to the border today, the Mexican border, it's already been pretty much militarized. This almost doubles the resources down there. As one of my Senate sources said, you know, these Border Patrol agents are going to be tripping over themselves because there's so many. They had 20,000 new people down there. Yeah,
and not to mention that, you know, if you focus on one area of the border, they're just going to go somewhere else. They're going to find their way in. So why not give them a pathway to get in through guest worker programs and others? Now, Steve, you've told me that you think that the politics here are a disaster for Republicans. Why?
You know, I didn't think that 6 months ago after the election. I thought Republicans would really coalesce around this issue and realize they've got a big problem with Hispanic and Asian voters, which clearly they do, and this would be kind of a slam dunk. And it's turned out to be just the opposite. And what's happened is this issue has completely split the Republican Party. The conservative movement is in a full-scale revolt against this bill. And I fear that what happens is if in the House, John Boehner tries to ram this thing through with Democratic votes, which is that's the scuttlebutt right now, Mary, is that what he's going to have to do. I think you could have the Republican Party just split apart. I mean, you would have a rebellion on your hand from the conservative movement, and I think that would put Republicans in a big, big hole going into 2014.
Oh, come
By
on,
the way, I have a minority
Steve.
opinion on that.
Yeah, you are a minority opinion. I mean, isn't that going a little far? I don't think the Republican Party is going to split apart. I think that maybe a couple of very extremist Republicans, your Ted Cruz's of the world, your Rand Pauls might split apart. But come on, Steve, break the party apart? Well,
okay, but look at the vote in the Senate. You know, this was a bill, even after they spent this deluge of money, something like $25 or $30 billion of extra money on Border Patrol, you still had 2/3 of the Republicans vote against this bill because there wasn't enough border security here. So I do believe this is the passions are so hot on this issue in this town of Washington, D.C., and among the Tea Party groups and so on, that I think it does have the real risk of having conservatives stay home in November of 2014 if they feel like they've been double-crossed by the Republican leadership.
Well, Steve, there's always the chance that they go home to their constituencies, they hear another story, and they change their mind thanks to the leadership of those 14 Republicans.
I hope so.